Canada, land of snow, hockey, and yes, beer. If it is a full-bodied beer full of flavor and character, chances are you'll find it in Canada. Red Betty's Northwest IPA is one of the latest entries into the world of craft breweries in North America. While a smaller company, how does the Northwest IPA stand up in the overcrowded world of India Pale Ales? Find out now on Two Dudes Reviews. Based out of Surrey, British Columbia, Central City Brewery started crafting beer as a brewpub in 2003. As the popularity grew, the brewery started canning and selling the beer throughout the province. By 2010, the newly dubbed Red Betty brand received the Canadian Brewery of the Year award, an accolade it repeated in 2012. As Northwest IPA is the company's flagship beer, the quality of this beer is essential. But just how good is it? Only one way to find out. Alright, yeah, we have this nice Red Betty Northwest IPA can here. I do believe they sell it in bottles, but I'm only able to get it in cans in Arizona. So, if you're new to the reviews, we break it down into 6 different categories. That is smell, taste, value for price, drinkability, distinction, and would I buy it again? So, let's get cracking. Alright, if I'm looking at it, it's got a very, trying to think of the correct orange variety that this is. It's almost like a mandarin, deep orange. It's cloudy. Got some carbonation, not a whole lot, not much head. It's kind of dissipating as we go with it. But yeah. All right, let's start the review. We're going to start with the smell. You have the hoppiness. It's not overbearing as some of the other IPAs have. So you got the hoppiness. You got a little bit of the oakiness, just a little hint of the oakiness. You do get the orange zest aroma with the oakiness. So if you just smell it just slightly, you get the hops, but the deeper in you get the further into the almost the deeper citrus, the heavier citrus flavor. All right. For smell, I'm gonna recommend the smell. It's not overabundant of the hoppy bitterness, and for me, I like that. So I'm gonna recommend it on the smell. So all right, let's get into taste. That's different. That's interesting. You have the hoppiness. It hits you in the back of the mouth. The front of the mouth, it almost just bypasses altogether. I don't have a lot of flavor senses going on the front of my mouth. It's all at the back, and it's almost like a porter flavor almost at the back end. It's you have the hoppiness, but you get the almost oaky, charcoaly flavor at the back end, which is interesting. So it's not just bam hops. That's all you get. It skips over the entire first front of your mouth. There's a little bit of smoke, a little bit of smoky flavor in it too. Um, so yeah, it's I mean, the bitterness is there. It's definitely present, which you'd expect. It's not overpowering at all, and yeah, it has that smoky, charcoaly flavor at the end of it, which is the flavor that I'm left with in my mouth. So it's it's different. I like it, so I'm gonna recommend it on the taste. Now, as for the next category is value for price. Um, I I'm gonna assume you can probably get this in a 6 pack or 12 pack if you can find this. I didn't check to see if I could get it in the 6 or 12 pack. I got it as a single. It stood out to me. As a single, it was, I believe, under $2, like $1.79 or whatever. So not bad at all. Especially seeing as though I'm in Arizona and it came from Canada. So that's a fair price. And for the slightly different elements of the IPA, I'm gonna recommend it for value for price. So it's not yeah, it's not a bad price for that. So all right, category 4 is drinkability. Let's get another swig of this. Because I find that I'm getting more the heavier orange zest, like mandarin flavor, as I'm getting into it, as my taste buds are kind of opening up into it. Drinkability, it's not overly bitter, and so if you're looking for the bitterest IPA you can find, this is not it. But it's a nice combination of different flavors. You have the nice initial bitterness and then the smoky, charcoaly flavor with some orange zest or mandarin zest. It's a nice combination of that. And if you're looking for an IPA that's not just over the head bitter and has a little bit more complexity of just here's a bunch of hops and that's it, this is pretty good for that, actually. So I'm going to recommend it for drinkability. If I'm in the mood for IPA, this is something I could have multiple cans of. It's not something where I could only have one and be like, I need to like refresh my tongue because it's too charred from the bitterness. I feel like it's not like citrusy with the zest from the orange or mandarin or whatever. I feel like it works well, offsetting some of the bitterness. So it takes some of the edge off. So because of that, I could drink definitely more than one of these. So I'm going to recommend it for the drinkability. So I'd say check it out for that. And now category 5 is distinction. How distinct is it from other IPAs? And in a time where it seems like all people that are making IPAs are just trying to make it more bitter than the last guys, this is different. This is, I think, an excellent flagship beer for the Red Betty Brewery. And I think it's a nice change of pace. It's still the IPA, it's still the bitterness, but it has a few other flavors in it that makes it enjoyable. It's not, I think if you're just getting into the world of IPAs, it's something that you could really get into, that you could really sink your teeth into and be like, okay, this is all right. I could dig this. So for distinction, yes, it's, I can't remember if I already said it's unusual or not. It's definitely an IPA, but it's a little more unique than your run-of-the-mill IPA. And I can see why, because of pretty much specifically this beer, why in the 15 years, less than 15 years this brewery's been around, it's already received the Brewery of the Year in Canada 2 different times, which is pretty impressive. So yes, distinction. I'm going to recommend it for distinction. And so category 6 is would I buy it again? And I mean, honestly, I've checked off, I've approved all the previous 5 of the categories, and honestly, A lot of times when it comes to these kind of beers, I feel like the price point is important, and the flavor and the drinkability. I feel like those are the most three important things of will I buy the beer again. And yes, all three of those are excellent. And I think because of that, this is an IPA I could have in my fridge that when it gets warmer out, if I want something that's not overly sweet but not over the head bitter, I think this is something that I could really, really enjoy. And so, yeah, I would recommend this beer. I would buy it again. And that gives it a perfect 6 out of 6, which means it gets our Two Dudes Reviews stamp of approval. And so, for anybody that's looking for an IPA that's not, like the ultra burn your mouth out bitterness, check this out. I don't know what the distribution is for the beer. I'm going to assume it's got to be pretty decent, just because since I'm in Arizona and I'm getting the beer out of British Columbia, I'm going to assume it's got to be available in most of the United States. And so check it out, and let me know what you think of the beer. I'd love to know what you think. Post in the comments. Yeah, let me know if you drink it again, if it's your favorite, if you're just not a big fan of it. Yeah. Let me know, and please subscribe to this the station. We are adding reviews multiple times a week, and as you can tell, it's not just review. We try to put some little entertainment, little education all in the videos to spice it up a little bit. So subscribe to that. If you check out a podcast, that'd be fantastic. It's Two Dudes in a Six Pack. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. We're there. And you can follow us on Twitter at Two Dudes Podcast. And if you have any questions, if you have any recommendations on beers I should check out, or that Chris should check out, or just want to shoot a question that maybe we can address on the podcast, send it to us. It's Two Dudes in a Six Pack at gmail.com. And for the 2 and the 6, they're the numbers. Don't spell it out. And so, yeah, that is my review of the Red Betty Northwest IPA. So if you haven't had it before, go out and check it out. Let me know what you think. So until next time, cheers.